What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to another video with me, Miss V. I am a geometry teacher and an IB math teacher at a school in Georgia, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to perform sequences of transformations on a geometric figure. So if that's something that you're interested in, continue watching this video. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So you guys know I write on my iPad while I do these videos, so I look down while I'm writing. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about a sequence or sequences, okay, of transformations, okay? And this is a topic in geometry that basically refers to you performing more than one transformation on a figure. So our different transformations, we have translations, we have reflections, we have rotations, and we also have dilations, which I have not made a video on it just yet, but I will soon. I do have a video already up on translations, reflections, and rotations, and I also have a video up on the different properties of these three rigid motions, so go ahead and take a look at those videos if for some reason you're not 100% sure on what these different transformations are, okay? So a sequence of transformations is basically you doing multiple of these transformations on a figure. So you can start off with a translation and then a reflection, or a rotation and then a translation, or a dilation and then a reflection. So it's just a combination, and you can even do three of them. So you can do translation, then reflection, then rotation. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into an example. So let me draw my coordinate grid on here for you guys. And it's my x-axis. Okay, so let's say that my pre-image, so let's say we have a rhombus, something like this, and I'm trying to draw it as nice as possible. So this over here is point A, B, C, and D, okay? And I say, okay, perform the following sequence of transformations. So the first thing that I want you to do with that figure is, so perform sequence of transformations, okay? And let's say I tell you, hey, the first thing, I don't feel like writing the whole word. The first thing that I want you to do is, one, reflect that figure about the x-axis, and two, and let me change the color around so you guys can see what the figure is going to look like at each step. So one, reflected about the x-axis, and two, let's translate it, okay? So let's do a reflection, and then let's translate the figure, translate it 2 units right, and let's do 3 units up, okay? So 2 units right and 3 units up, okay? The easiest way to do this is to first record or write down all of your pre-image points. So I'm going to go ahead and write points A, B, C, and D over here. Okay, so point A right now is at -3, 2. B is at -2, 3. C is at -3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And D is at -4, 3. Okay. So write down all of your points for your figure, and then whatever sequence of transformations it tells you to perform, just follow the different rules for it. So the rules for reflecting about the x-axis, just change the sign of y, leave x the same. So if I'm going to reflect about the x-axis, and the easiest way to follow along with this, I'm going to color code it. So this is our original pre-image point x, y. Okay. And if I transform it, I reflect about the x-axis, I'm going to leave x the same, change the sign of y. And then the last transformation, to translate it 2 units right and 3 units up, to go right. Remember, right, you're going towards the positive direction, and 3 units up, you're also going positive, okay? So that's the easiest way to do this, and you can do it one at a time. So let's just pretend that I didn't write anything over here in orange. And let's do the magenta transformation first. So let's first reflect it about the x-axis, okay? So now what that means, I'm leaving x the same for all of these, and I'm changing the sign of y. Okay, so a now is going to become a prime, which means you did a transformation to that point, and it's going to be at -3, -2. B prime is going to be at -2, -3. C prime is going to be at -3, -4, because I'm changing the sign of y for all of these. Notice x is staying the same, -4 for D, and I'm changing the sign of y, okay? So this is our first reflection, our first transformation. And then step 2, now with those points, I'm going to go ahead and, if I'm going 2 units to the right, remember when we go towards the right, x is becoming more positive. So I'm going to be adding 2 to x. And if I go up, y is also becoming more positive. So I'm going to be adding 3 to y, okay? And usually whenever we have a sequence of transformations, the way that you note it is by having multiple little apostrophes next to the letter, because you're basically saying, okay, 1 apostrophe, this is the first transformation. 2 apostrophes, this is the second one. 3, 4, 5, you can have multiple transformations, but most of the time, the most you're going to see is up to 2 or 3, okay? So now from here, my x is -3 for that first transformation. If I add 2 to -3, I'm at -1. And then I was at -2, -2 plus 3. Now I'm at +1. Okay. Do the same thing for B. So B was at -2. If I add 2 to -2, I'm at 0. And it was at -3. If I add 3 to -3, I'm at 0 as well. Okay. So now here, go ahead and pause the video so that you can practice doing C double prime and D double prime on your own, and then you can check your answer with me, okay? All right, so C double prime, again, C is at -3 for my X value. If I add 2 to -3, I'm at -1. And C, the Y value is at -4. If I add 3 to -4, I'm at -1. Okay. And last but not least, D double prime, if I add 2 to -4, I'm at -2. And then if I add 3 to -3, I'm at 0, okay? So you're in brand new figure, and if you want, you can show this middle step and then the brand new figure as well. But I'm just going to show the brand new one because my figure is actually not going to fit in that coordinate grid at the bottom. So A is at -1, 1, A double prime. B is at 0, 0, B double prime. C double prime is at -1, 1. And D double prime is at -2, 0. So this is that figure after you do that sequence of transformations to it, okay? So make sure that whenever you're doing these kinds of transformations that you're verifying, because I could give you those 2 figures and you could also tell me, hey, this kind of, you can get confused. So basically you can say, oh yeah, A just went 2 to the right and 1 down. But then is that true for all of these points? So yeah, A, you can go 2 to the right and then 1 down to get to A double prime. But if you follow that same rule for B, for example, if I go 2 to the right and 1 down, notice it's not at the same exact point, okay? So make sure that whenever you're answering a question, if they say, hey, select all the transformations that apply, that you're actually doing it for each you're mapping each pre-image point onto the image point, okay? So you have to double check all the points, because just because it works for one point doesn't mean it's going to work for all of them, okay? So just to make sure that that's how that goes, that you double check your answers. All right, so this is an example of a sequence of transformations. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments for me, and I'll see if I can get to them as soon as possible. But if not, and y'all like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I will continue to post geometry videos for you guys. So subscribe and like my videos, and I'll catch y'all in another video. Bye.